This is the Your Dollars Making Sense podcast, brought to you by Jamie Blanton with Jacob Title, Bales Property Management and Home Building, SHH Mechanical, and Boyles Tax Service.
Hey everybody, Richard Neese here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Your Dollars Making Sense. I believe in helping good people get to a better place, and I know that financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. If you're tuned in on WKUL 92.1 at 10 a.m., thank you so much for listening. If you guys are listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, any other platform, please subscribe, please follow, please help us spread our message. Your Dollars Making Sense is a show about money. It's about finances. It's about business. It's about helping good people get to a better place. How do we do that? Why do we start? So if you've heard this show before, I talk about this every time. The reason we're doing this is because there's lots of folks out there that don't know about business, that don't know about investing, but want to know. I get calls weekly. I'm a real estate broker here in North Alabama. We've got 4 or 5 businesses that we run, real estate wise, storage facilities, rental properties. We run what we call the Synergy Center, an office complex. We've got tons of other things going on. It seems like folks come to me weekly and say, hey, we want to talk about business. We want to talk about starting a business, growing a business, keeping it going. And so I said, you know what, why don't I just put this on the radio? Why don't I just put this on a podcast so people can listen and they can get this information anywhere in the world? So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Please sponsor your local businesses. If you want to sponsor this show, you can give me a call, 256-708-1511. I don't care if you're local, if you're in Alaska, you have the opportunity to sponsor and get your message out and help good people get to a better place. Today, we're going to be talking about business. We're going to be talking about planning and mindset. So I usually try and incorporate something that's happened over the week and bring that in and give you guys some value, give you something that's going to help you grow your business, help you make more money, help you retire sooner, help you be a better person overall. One thing that I've got to say is that you can't think small and expect big things to happen. You can't be so focused on hurting somebody's feelings or the way something's perceived. If you've got big dreams and big goals, you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. You're going to take up somebody's market share. That doesn't mean you have to intentionally be ugly to them. But what's going to happen is you're going to be taking someone else's business. You're going to be earning someone else's business. I like to be, I was talking to Bruce Olinger the other day. I want to make sure that we frame the conversation correctly. There's a positive way to win. Positivity always wins. So when you're working hard, when you're making yourself more attractive, more successful, more valuable, people are going to come to you. Well, guess what? That business was going somewhere else, and now it's coming to you. That person's probably not going to be real happy about it. And what I continually see is you got 2 types of people. You got the person that gets mad about it, that cries about it, that gets upset, that tries to attack you personally, that tries to belittle you or spread your name, spread rumors about you, or whatever the case might be. And then you got the person that says, you know what? That person, that guy did something more valuable. They brought more value than I did. Whether it was being present, whether it was being available, having a better system in place, offering more valuable services or products. They're doing something different than I am, and I need to figure out how I can better myself. So you got the person that gripes and complains and says, woe is me, and is negative. And then you got the positive person that says, you know what, I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to win that business back. I'm going to gain it back by becoming more valuable. This is such a hard thing to think about. People ask me all the time, and this is kind of a loaded question, but they ask me if I'm watching my competition, paying attention to what my competition is doing. And I say it in not a bragging way, but I say it in a way that's, no, I'm not watching them. They're watching me. I'm trying to stay cutting edge. I'm trying to stay in front of the market. I may look at people outside of my area in real estate or real estate investing and say, what are they doing that I can bring to my space? But I'm not watching, for example, I'm not watching what Wes Warren does. Wes is a great guy. People love Wes. Wes's customers in most cases aren't my customers, and that's okay. Am I looking at his Facebook page and checking him out? No, I'm not. What I am doing is trying to create more value for my customer, for my listing, for my buyer, for my investor. That's what I'm trying to do on a daily basis. It doesn't matter to me what they're doing because I'm going to continue to improve my process and my product. That's the way you've got to look at things. If you're constantly worried about what everybody else is doing, you'll never succeed. Because there's always going to be somebody that's a little bit better at marketing than you are, or they're a little bit better at the process, or maybe their mom and dad was rich and they're going to be set up better than you are. Who cares? You've got to focus on your improvement in your business. You've got to focus on developing out your people and putting the right people in place. This is so important, and people miss it over and over again. They start thinking about strategy, and they start thinking, well, this person is doing this, and this person is doing that. You know, the best way to fail in business is worry about what everybody else is doing. You've got to look at yourself and say, what do I bring to the table? What's my unique skill set? What's my value proposition? How can I help people? How can I provide a better service? How can I excel personally? If you are really good in conversation, and you're really good at solving problems, or you're really good at math, or you're really good at making things that are very complicated simple, that should be part of your value proposition. It shouldn't be, we're better than the other guys at this. It's, we're great at what we do. We love what we do, and that makes us strive to do better and to build on that. We know what our sweet spot is. Not everybody's my customer. Not everybody's Wes's customer. Not everybody's Dominic's customer. Not everybody's whoever's customer. You've got to find the people that you enjoy being around, you enjoy working with, and work with those folks. You've got to, and that doesn't mean you discriminate against other people. You just know that, I usually don't work with folks that are under 23 years old. They don't see my marketing very often because of the way that we do things, the places we put it. Does that mean I won't work with them? No, that doesn't mean that. I'd love to work with somebody and we have congruent business principles, and we work through that. You've got to make sure that you focus on you, and you'll attract the customers you want. I firmly and strongly believe in the secret is that you attract the things that you put in your mind. That's good, that's bad, that's indifferent. You attract those things by stating, oh, you know what? Good enough is good enough. Or I'm not going to worry about doing that. Or I want to be around high profile people all the time because that's the way that I think. It's so important to think big, to think about the things that are going to matter. I've heard somebody say the 5-minute rule, or the rule of 5. So if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend 5 minutes on it. Think about how powerful that is. How important is that argument that you have with your wife, or that conversation that you have where you get frustrated because the appraiser didn't do something, the home inspector did this. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, then don't spend 5 minutes on it. Get over it, move forward. All it's doing is keeping you from succeeding. Because in most cases, those folks aren't thinking about it. They're already on with their day. Why is it so important? And if it is going to matter in 5 years, address it. Take action right then. So we're coming up against a break already. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you to my sponsors out there. If you guys want to be a sponsor, you can call 256-708-1511. We'd love to we like having good people. We like having folks that are supportive entrepreneurs, that are business minded. We like having people that want to see growth and givers gain. So you can give us a call. I'd love to have folks. We start at $250 on the sponsorship, $250 a month. That gives you some radio advertising. It gives you the podcast. It gives you all these things, but mainly it gives you buy-in to me. It gives you buy-in and access to me and my network. It gives you an opportunity to show that you're proud to be a part of an entrepreneur show. You're proud to be a part of growing small businesses and helping people. So thank you guys so much. We're going to come back in the second segment in just a minute. We hope to see you there. Welcome back to Your Dollars Making Sense, where financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. I'm your host, Richard Neese, local real estate broker here in North Alabama. We appreciate you guys tuning in on WKUL 92.1. Thank you guys for allowing us to put this on the air. There's a lot of people that don't have a radio show. They don't have the buy-in. I know locally it's not just about dollars, it's about value. I know with the radio station here, especially WKUL, they're not going to put something on the air that's going to be controversial and it's going to be against their value proposition, their value set. So with that being said, I thank you. Thank you, Ron Jr. Thank you, Big Ron. Thank you all those who support us in doing what we're doing. At the end of the day, we're trying to help good people get to a better place. We're trying to add up more pluses than negatives on the entire tally at the end of the day. So thank you guys. In this first segment, we talked about thinking small. You can't think small and do big things. It's the 100% truth. I catch myself probably quarterly when I start focusing on the problems, when I start focusing on the bad things in life, then my whole demeanor starts going downhill. When I think about, man, I've got to have, I keep having these problems and I just got to solve these problems, what happens is those problems get bigger. The problem with the transaction makes it bigger and bigger and bigger. When I focus on solutions, you know what, I've got a good solution for this. Let's put this in this person's hand and let's think about helping more people. How can I help this family? Not problems. We're solving those problems. It's the same thing with home life. If you focus on the negative, then that's what you get, the negative. If you focus on the positive, you're going to get so much more out of it. And I don't remember who said it. I think it was Paradise Lost. The mind can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. What does that mean? Your mind is so powerful that you can be in the worst conditions in the world and be thankful for something. Be thankful for God. Be thankful for a family. Or you can be living a life of luxury and have everything you could want, and you can make that a hell. You can make that miserable and complain and not be grateful for anything. It's the same thing in business. When you focus on the small things, you find the small things. When you focus on the big things, problems get solved. People come to your aid. Partnerships are formed. You find like-minded individuals. And you know what? It's not a perfect process. I'll tell you that. There's been many people that have come in my life and out of it. They played a part in it, whether good, bad, indifferent. They're a part of my history. They're a part of the experience, a part of my life. But you've got to move forward. You've got to say those people they're not congruent with what I'm trying to do. So when you think small, you're going to find small. I see this constantly. I had a guy that I was talking with the other day, and he's telling me he wants to build hundreds and hundreds of homes, but he can't project what his value proposition is. He can't even tell me who his customer is. He can't tell me what his process is. And I had a hard conversation with him. I said, dude, you got to figure this out before we can move forward. And what happened was, instead of taking that and saying, you know what, I'm going to figure this part out. This is the hard part of the business. I'm going to figure this out, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to grow this to be massive proportion. Propulsion. We're going to jet off to massive proportion. What he did was he said, you know what, I'm going to look for another opportunity instead of facing the hardest problem. I'm going to kind of get what I want, but I'm not going to get completely what I want. And I hope and pray he finds what he does want. And he steps up and he says, you know what, I'm going to tackle the hard issues. It may not have been time. I mean, I'm not the one that's judging, but I just see so many people that look at something that's difficult and say, how can I make my way around it? When sometimes you got to straight up go through it. You got to go through it. You got to hit the bottom. You've got to do the stuff you don't like to do. You've got to take out the loan. You've got to do the stuff that makes you uncomfortable in order to get to where you want to be at. I've got tons of stories. I got a good friend of mine, a builder, that his thing was he never wanted to take out a loan. And he said, you know, I don't want to do that. My family's had problems with that and other things. What I want to do is I want to be successful and be debt-free the rest of my life. It's definitely possible, and people do it all the time. But what I asked him was, how quickly do you want to do this? Because if you slowly build that up, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be successful in that. But it may take you 25 years, and you may not. You may have missed your opportunity on it. I said on the other side, if you leverage banking, if you leverage loans for building houses, things like that, you can move quicker, provide more value for more people, but you pay for the money. I mean, that's the way it works. So which is better? Is having 100% of $100 better than having 20% of $10,000? You tell me. I mean, the numbers work out pretty clearly. But the thing is, people get to thinking all the time about this low level, and sometimes it's education, sometimes it's raising, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But if you want to know my opinion, then ask me. If you don't want to know it, don't ask me, because I see so much potential in so many people, and they're missing that one thing. They're missing that conversation that pushes them. And to let you know, he started taking loans out, and I think he's going to build 12 homes this year. Last year he built 3 or 4. So I mean, it's incredible to see the change. How one piece of information can help you. How one connection can take you from being struggling to being a multimillionaire. One conversation can change that. Who's going to have that conversation with you? I would love to help anybody looking to start a business. I love it. I love sitting down and discussing it. I love looking at structures, looking at plans, and helping people move forward on that. The thing I don't love is I don't love when people take advantage of that. They talk to me, they take up my time, and they don't move forward on what they want to do. They back off. They get scared. You don't have to be scared. You can accomplish anything and everything that you want. I know that personally. It takes work. It takes struggle. But at the end of the day, I was talking to Ron Jr., at the end of the day, everybody that has anything has worked for it. Anything worth having is worth working for. It doesn't matter if that is owning your own home. It doesn't matter if that's being a multimillionaire. It doesn't matter if that means having a good marriage. It takes work. It takes struggle. It takes getting out of your comfort zone. It takes looking at yourself and having that hard conversation. What is that hard conversation? What are you looking for today? What do you know that you need? There's an industry built around coaching, an industry built around consultation. And I'll tell you, I subscribe to it. There are connections, there are networks that I tie into, and I pay for that network. But it has made me 20 times that. What I'll say about that is that industry is based around really several principles. One of the principles that always gets me, most of the time you know the right answer. Maybe it's packaged differently from the coach. Maybe it's in a different voice. Maybe it's at the perfect time. But you already know what you need to do in most cases. So do it. Have the hard conversation and do it. You can do it. It's possible. But you've got to map it out. You've got to put the work in. And you've got to hang around long enough to be successful. 90% of success is showing up, and that's the truth. But you got to keep showing up. It's not showing up one day. It's showing up 6 years in a row and then finally getting that interview, finally getting that chance to record a song, finally getting that opportunity where the banker says, we're going to take a risk on you. We're going to give you this money at a discounted rate. It's possible, but you've got to believe that first. So I'm getting more into the motivation side today, but I'm super excited about growing businesses. I'm super excited about starting them, entrepreneurial spirit. If you guys want to be a part of our show, if you want to come on and talk about your business experience, if you want to talk about investing, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, you can always give me a call, Richard Neese at 256-708-1511, and we'll help you get to a better place. Welcome back to the third and final segment of Your Dollars Making Sense, where financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. I'm not a financial advisor, so to speak. I'm not a certified financial advisor. I'm not somebody that's going to get up and tell you to invest in gold today, to invest in real estate today. I am a real estate broker. I have invested in millions of dollars worth of real estate. I love taking something that's been neglected, abused, torn down, and making it something better. I love taking a house or an apartment, buying an apartment complex, fixing them up, and being proud to know that I would sleep in those apartments. I would live there. So with that being said, I'm not going to pitch you about what the interest rate is today. Money can be made in a lot of different ways. We bring people on this show to talk about different ways you can make money, different avenues of investing, different ways to retire, what retirement is. But at the end of the day, we want to see you become successful, and financial intelligence is the key to that. It is. Intelligence in general is important, but you've got to have intelligence in different areas. Specific knowledge is important in different areas. You need to know how money works. There's some great books for that. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a nice concept book. It's a good way to start thinking about how money can be moved differently. The Richest Man in Babylon is another one that deals more with small, short stories, and it talks about how to save your money, how to build wealth off of it. Great parables is what they are. So check those out. If you're wondering about a reading list, give me a call. I'm constantly listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, as well as reading books. It's important to learn constantly. So we've been talking about thinking small. What is thinking small? Lots of folks are worried about today. They're worried about how I'm going to make my grocery money. And that's so important. Obviously, if you don't have grocery money to get you to your big plans, you're never going to make it. You're going to have to go back and get another job. You're going to starve to death, whatever the case might be. What I would argue is you've got to have short-term plans and long-term plans. If your only goal is to make it to Friday, okay, well, how about making it to Saturday next week? How about moving to Sunday the following week off of my paycheck? How are you going to grow that to get to that point? It's crucial to have these long-term plans. You've got to be thinking bigger. If you throw out a goal and then it makes you uncomfortable, that's probably the right goal. If you throw out one that you know is attainable, then that's when you've really got to take a step back and say, you know what, maybe I'm not pushing hard enough. So thank you guys so much for listening today to Your Dollars Making Sense. I hope that I'm making a difference in somebody's life. I hope that I can be a resource for you. I hope that I can be a light, a beacon, a lighthouse to come towards. There have been so many people that have influenced me in my life regarding business, regarding everything else, that I want to be that for somebody else. I want to be the light, like I said. We've been talking about that with all the negativity that's been going on in the world, everything that's there's so many confused people on both sides of the aisle. There's so much hate. Let's put it together. Let's show that decent human decency will prevail. Let's show that. Let's show that I don't care what color you are, I'll call you brother or sister. Let's show that we can help each other through business, through real estate, through prayer. It doesn't matter which religion you are. We can be decent to each other. We can disagree, but we can be decent. And that's where we've got to be careful, because when we stop having that conversation, that's when people start getting hurt. We've got to have a conversation. Whether I'm comfortable with it or not, whether you're comfortable with it or not, the conversation has to be heard. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's a little bit of a short segment. I wanted to talk about thinking bigger. If you want to think bigger with me, if you want to give me a call and let's discuss some business plans, I'd love to help you. I'd love to help you grow your business. We're working on building out the Synergy Center right now for small businesses. If you don't know what that is, reach out to me. I'd be glad to tell you. Hope you guys have a great Saturday. Please follow us. Please support WKUL. Great sponsorship opportunities for our show as well as in the community. There's just so much going on that's good. Let's focus on the good and be the light. Y'all have a great weekend.